Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Hare Thompson.
Nothing there.
There's no hat.
Hey.
You don't have a hat on
My
today.
man.
That's
Nothing
weird.
there.
No hat. That's crazy. I got up at 5 this morning and I was like, I should fix my hair. And I was like, no,
I'm hatless.
I don't want to fix my hair. I'm just going to wear this Beck's hat like I do every other day. What's up? It's Good Morning Liberty. We talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of meaning every single day of the week when we want to. Yesterday was episode 1586, I believe. So thank you for being here for number 1587. And I mean this sincerely. Tell a friend, tell a family member, and especially tell the children to listen to today's episode specifically.
And I mean it insincerely.
Charlie is not sincere at all. So yesterday we ended the show like the last 10, 15 minutes by talking about this Epstein, the revelations that the whole thing was made up. Like this is like the wildest, most
Fugazi.
commonly held conspiracy theory by both the left and the right that there's ever been. And somehow the Trump administration, Pam Bondi, Bongino, Patel, thought that they were going to come out and say nothing to see here, and everyone was going to be like, "Oh, I trust those guys. That's cool." I guess we were all just wrong this entire time. That's a blemish on the old CV, I guess, but we'll get them next time for sure. Next time there's a giant pedophile ring, we're going to take them down. So
turns out the Biden administration was right.
Yeah, there wasn't any reason to dig into it. And
No.
in fact, I don't see why they didn't just close the case.
And look, neither one of us are conspiracy theorists.
No.
But we're going to talk today about if
Today
we were.
we're going to speculate wildly today. I'm just going to warn you, I don't have like a specific list that we're about to go down. I don't have a slideshow prepared to direct our conversation.
There's no sources.
What I have, well, we got sources.
Well,
We got a lot of random stuff.
Nate, you're not supposed to say we have sources.
Okay. All right. We're not telling you about our sources. Okay? We're going to keep those close.
They're anonymous.
All right? Very anonymous sources. People familiar with the matter have informed us on this matter today. So I got a whole lot of stuff pulled up from what's been happening on the internet over the last day or so. And, the good news, let me tell you the white pill behind this whole thing. Basically, no one is buying this at all. Like, not even the biggest. Now, I've seen some cope from the super duper MAGA people that, it's not Trump, it's Pam Bondi, or it's not, it's not Kash Patel, it's Pam Bondi or whatever. And it might be. I mean, I would still look to the boss, are you saying he's not an effective executive? Is that what you're saying? Like he really wants this and they're just doing this behind his back in public? Is that what's happening right now? But basically, no one believes this.
Typically, mob kings surround themselves with people that they can place the blame on and
That's
have
true.
resign.
That is true.
Or killed.
They've got deniability on this whole thing.
Exactly.
Trump's going to say, what do you want me to do? I put the guy, Kash Patel, in charge here of the FBI. You think, what else did you want me to do?
Terrible job.
Who's a more reliable person I could have put in charge of the FBI to uncover this stuff? And he's telling you Jeffrey Epstein didn't even exist. Wasn't even a real person.
Look, Elon Musk already took the fall for the Republicans having to spend more money after promising all the cuts.
Yeah.
It's, we shifted the focus to Elon Musk and his EV mandates.
To finish out my joke, basically no one believes what the DOJ leaked on Sunday night, except for Ben Shapiro. So let's hear what Ben Shapiro has to say about this whole thing. According to Luke Rakowski on here, he believes all the stuff the DOJ just said. I want to hear it.
We now have the answers. And the problem is this. People who never hedged their bets, people who never at any point suggested to you that they don't have data to back up the speculation, that the speculation was in and of itself the conclusion that if you speculate without evidence, that amounts to an actual conclusion to an investigation, they're going to be very upset today because it turns out that the DOJ and the FBI have concluded that Epstein didn't have a client list and died by suicide, according to a memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. Now, again,
something important here. Have his eyebrows always been that big? Am I just now noticing this?
They look a bit more dyed than usual.
I mean, they are like thick. That is like an eye beard that's happening right now. That's crazy. Okay, anyhow, let's get back into it.
Does this put to bed like all inquiries? Of course not. People can continue to speculate as much as they want. And I think there's still open questions here regarding how did Epstein make his money? Right, that's a very serious open question. And the speculation for a long time was he made his money from blackmail. But the DOJ and the FBI, again, run by people like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are telling you, I'm not telling you, they're telling you, people who are members of the Trump administration, people you elected and put into these positions to get you the truth on this matter, are telling you that he didn't, in fact, he was not murdered. He did not keep a client list. And he did not blackmail powerful figures. Right, that is the thing that they are saying, not I. They are saying this.
And they're doing it totally transparently, by the way.
Too much.
They're holding a press conference being like, man, we looked into this. We really thought there was something going on. Here's all the stuff we looked at. And we can't find anything. We thought there was something. Yeah. Is he talking about the people who speculated wildly? Like, I don't know, maybe the vice president of the United States a month ago on Theo Vaughn's podcast?
Yeah.
Saying release the client list?
Or Kash Patel and Dan Bongino themselves. Or like Pam Bondi when she said she had the list
on her desk.
Just weird.
Those were wild speculations.
Weird stuff like that. Let's get the last 30 seconds. And
claim they're lying. Then I'd like to see you present your evidence that they are in fact lying. Because
I just talked about
I know Dan. I don't think that Dan Bongino is lying to me. I know Kash Patel a little bit. I don't think Kash Patel is lying to me. I don't think these people are lying to me. Which means that if somebody else continues to claim that they're lying, they ought to provide their evidence at this point. And now is the point at which the facts on the ground have changed. And so either you ought to shift your opinion based on the facts that have now emerged, or you ought to acknowledge that this was never a fact-based inquiry in the first place.
Look, I'm not... Take body language for what it is. I'm no expert.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple times, they shouldn't have zoomed in on his face here.
Yeah.
There's a couple times when he went to say something where if you'll notice he did this little look up in the corner or a look down when he was lying to you.
You know what's wild about this is it's like,
how much are they paying these people for this kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, Ben Shapiro, I'm sure, gets paid a lot of money, all the time. He believes he doesn't think that these people are lying to him, and I guess it's because of the specific people like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and I get that. I can trust them a little bit more, but if Biden's DOJ had released this exact same thing, do you think Ben Shapiro would be like, all right, case closed? Now, maybe he would be, because there is a lot of speculation and circumstantial evidence that Epstein may have, in fact, been an intelligence asset. And maybe not just for our intelligence, but maybe Ben Shapiro's favorite country's intelligence. And so there is a chance that he could be slightly biased in his glee about this news right now. And, that's something I've heard over the year. I honestly forgot to add it into my possible options yesterday about him being an intelligence asset, because I've heard it so many times and I just sort of forgot about it. I didn't realize how many actual connections and circumstantial evidence there was about that. There's quite a lot. And that's actually one of the things that does make a heck of a lot of sense when it comes to the situation. Yeah, so I did just want to start us off with this Ben Shapiro video. And that concludes the people who just believe what the DOJ just said. And then we have to get to other... Well, except for there is Caroline Leavitt. Let me get to this press conference. Here we go. Let me get to this guy right there.
The FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation.
Child pornography with who? Like, are we to believe that there's, you know, okay, I was joking at the beginning of the episode that you should have your kids listen to this. Okay. But let's call it child pornography. We'll just call it technical term there. Are we to believe that there's tens of thousands of hours of footage of like just the child by themselves? There's not a single video that involves acts with the child,
with any male subjects,
with any subjects of any kind. It's just tens of thousands of hours of a children in a room, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, okay, well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, none of this makes sense. No one believes this. This is like the biggest blunder. I mean, Trump bombed another country a couple weeks ago, and this is the dumbest thing they've done so far. Okay? This is the dumbest thing. No one's going to believe this.
It's like they have people in a room being like, okay, how do we lose the midterms?
Yeah.
How do y'all want to lose the midterms this time? Oh, I know. We'll lie to the American people. Make it sound. This is like COVID.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the COVID lie.
Yeah. It's that because.
And anytime you have.
Well, even less people believe it. Like with COVID, there were way more people that bought into that.
Yeah.
Like this is a less believable situation. This is like the lie that Biden was sharp as a tack. It's like that lie.
Yeah.
Only it's dumber than that lie.
Right.
And it's more disgusting than that lie.
Oh.
You know?
Watch Caroline Leavitt come out with a book.
Yeah, later.
4 years from
later
now.
on. Yeah.
About how she knew all about it.
She's like, yeah, you know that day I
She
didn't.
broke the news.
You know that day I didn't wear my cross necklace? Yeah. Here's why. Here's why I wasn't wearing it. We can go. Let's see. That looks like the same thing.
No, it's different.
No,
it's a different one.
This
This is a good one.
Yeah.
That's transparency.
Follow up on that,
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox
I've
News.
got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history.
Okay.
Their
All
emphasis.
right.
She just completely changed subjects.
That is
No, she wasn't talking about the list she was specifically asked about.
That's a professional right there.
She was talking about all the documents.
Let's talk about murder rate, but also let's talk about murder rate trends going in the right direction. Here's that clip.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right. That's what we got there. I told you I got a lot of stuff pulled up today. There's a lot of elements here.
I mean,
in this stack.
there's a technicality there. I mean, she lumped it in with the JFK files and the MLK files.
Yep.
So she could get away with that, technically speaking. Now, would a jury buy that? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think you could convince a jury that she didn't say she didn't have the list.
So what I'm trying to find out, like right now, I think we could probably all accept the fact that this is not going to happen. when you look at all the momentum pushing towards like releasing the Epstein files and getting all these dirty pedophiles and all that, there was a lot of momentum towards doing that, especially in the electorate, the MAGA base really big on doing that. And to get a guy like Kash Patel in there and Dan Bongino in there, who has spent a lot of time on their respective podcasts and on other podcasts talking about this in the past, to get them in there, and then they come out and they just say, yeah, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to do. Like this, everyone here needs to accept, probably, just everyone listening, probably, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that we should. I'm just saying we probably, deep down, the truth is we all have to assume and accept that this is never going to come out. That however deep this goes, it goes so deep that, like, even if the guy gets in who's actually going to push the button to release it, someone's going to kill him before he hits the button. Like that's just how big the thing is. And I don't know if it's Israeli intelligence or CIA or he was just making a bunch of money blackmailing people for fun so he could have all that power and everything. Whatever the case may be, if this list does exist with all these rich and powerful people on it, for whatever reason, they are
rich and powerful enough to keep it under wraps.
And they are. and so I try to imagine, like, we can just speculate a little bit here today before we get into this video that they released, which is doing way more damage than it fixed whatsoever. I try to imagine, okay, do we think that Kash and Dan know that there is a list, that there's a lot more details here, that there are people on the tapes, and that they're deciding to do this cover-up for whatever reason? Or do we think that it's been hidden from them too because they're virtuous individuals who would never lie about this kind of thing because they told us on hours of podcasts? Like, do you think they know that they're lying right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think you would have to say to a person to get them to completely go against everything that they've been saying for several years?
I'll kill your children.
That's something that could do it.
Yeah.
That's something that could do it right there. I think threats, obviously, to your family, that's a really big one, or to you as well. You can threaten to kill the person, but when you say, hey, even when you're gone, I'm going to kill your family too. I would say that's likely to get someone to go along with whatever the plan is. There's like national, I don't want to really say national security, but they could do it on national security grounds. Say if he was an Israeli intelligence agent, you could say, well, you put a bunch of people in your administration who care deeply about Israel because of that Bible verse, and you say, hey, you guys release all this information, you're gonna like destroy Israel. Like everyone's gonna turn against them after this, after we find out that they were actually running, that they were running this child sex trafficking ring and gathering information on people. Like
we're actively using this right now.
They're done after
this is
that.
An asset.
Or that we were doing it. Take Israel out of it. That we were doing this. Like, you're going to destroy any credibility that the American government has, and just think about the ramifications down the road of that, the civil unrest that would happen. Think about what would happen if the biggest, the wealthiest people in the world are brought down by this. What would happen to the market? The market would crash if, like, the owners of a bunch of major Fortune 500 companies were taken down, or a bunch of the Forbes wealthiest were taken down because of this. The market would totally dump at that time, and that would be terrible. You really think it's worth destroying all of these people's retirement accounts and the American economy and then the world's economy to take some of these people down? I mean, Epstein's...
You want global upheaval?
Yeah. Epstein's already dead. Maxwell is already in prison. The ring, the sex trafficking ring has been shut down. Sure, this happened, but we're not doing it anymore. So what are you really going to solve? You really want to upend the entire world just so you can put a few guys in prison who, let's face it, their lawyers are going to get them out of it. They're going to buy their way out of it. Nothing really is going to happen to these guys. And so is that really what you want to do? Plus, I'll kill your family?
And and then we can't use it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We have this asset that we now can't use anymore. And, you got to, for all you fathers out there, you just got to go to your daughter and, your 13-year-old daughter and just like, I'm so sorry you got raped for your country.
Yeah. God.
Maybe you'll get a medal for it or something.
But probably not.
But this is to protect national security.
Probably going to those secret stars on the wall at CIA headquarters,
Yeah, you were this is really going to fuck up your life. Like the rest of your life is completely messed up.
It's over.
And you were innocent, child, and you had an innocent soul. And
yeah.
Now you're probably going to have 2 or 3 different baby daddies and go through a lot of trauma for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And probably end up with some kind of addiction because some person decided that they could use you as part of this.
But if you look at the bright side, we were able to flip that CEO to go along with the pay raise that the Teamsters Union was wanting us to do. So win-win.
Yeah, and despite Elon Musk's best ever, we got that big, beautiful bill passed.
Yeah. So there's something, right?
Right? We had to flip a couple Republicans, and it turns out one of those Republicans was one of the ones that raped you. He was wearing a mask, so you didn't know that. Don't tell anyone, or we'll have to kill you.
And so as we do this ridiculous...
we're not a conspiracy theorist.
No. As we do this ridiculous exercise right now, just realize that many of the things we're currently saying have to be like true for this to happen. Unless you actually go along with Ben Shapiro, who's like, oh, yeah, I trust these guys. There was no blackmailing of high-profile figures. That's not how he made his money, was by blackmailing people. And also, no one paid him to meet with these girls. This idiot set up this entire sex trafficking ring and never had a single customer. What an asshole, right? Didn't get a single person.
It was just his passion. It was just passionate.
It's a passion project.
He was passionate about flying people on his private jet to this island. It was a way of showing off. So, like, hey, look what I can do.
So I think it's pretty clear we don't believe the official narrative right now.
Hell no.
And so,
absolutely not.
What are we gonna do? How are you gonna get anyone to actually look into it any further? Is everyone just gonna let it go and it's gonna be over?
I don't think so.
I kind of think it will. I sort of think it will.
This might push more people to the America Party. Like this is something Elon Musk should absolutely capitalize on if he wants to garner.
He should,
folks, because he came right out and said it. He said, "Mark this post. Trump's on the list. That's why they're not going to release it."
I mean, he was lying about that. There was no list.
Oh, yeah.
So he never saw a list. He never had any information, and that was just a total. It was a total lie.
Now let me throw something else out there, just to throw it out there to show you guys that we're not biased or anything. Is it possible that all the evidence was destroyed? Or at least the list or something was destroyed to where, Patel and Bongino and Bondi weren't able to view what was necessary to release a list. Possible. Lots of things are possible.
In fact, I would be shocked if it wasn't destroyed. As I joked about yesterday, like I know this sounds like MAGA cope or whatever, but you have to think about if the FBI is in possession of a bunch of rich, powerful, wealthy people doing terrible stuff that could take them down, including government officials from both Republican and Democrat sides. Do you think it's just on a file folder on the computer? You think no one's going to delete that? There's no one that's going to tell them to delete that stuff? Of course they are.
Them boys in the grassy knoll, they're buried out past Erlingua.
Yeah. I still got the shovel.
Exactly.
And so
that's how a conspiracy works.
And so it would be weird if they kept it. It's like the JFK files. I was like, what do you think? The CIA killed JFK and then they wrote a report about it? And then they put it in the file cabinet under A for assassination, and then they left it there for 60 years.
Yeah, it didn't blow up in a bomb
After
in
that,
Oklahoma City.
Like we want to
in the
know all
90s?
we want to know all the information. We want to know all the information, but we have to be realistic at the same time. Like I don't think the government's going to do these terrible things and then write a report about. Well, of course, that contradicts the fact that they have done a lot of other really terrible things and then wrote a report about it and then put it in the file cabinet under T for terrible things we did, and then we learned about it afterwards. But some of these like world-changing things, like a JFK assassination or a Epstein client list or whatever, I personally don't believe they would keep it. I really don't. And so I think that there's a little bit of, I don't want to say truth, but it's at least plausible that they got in there and they're like, oh, we can't find any evidence. We don't have anything. Now, what I think in that case should happen or would happen is that people like Cash and Bongino would say, we don't have any of this evidence. There is no client list. Now, that doesn't mean we don't think there ever was a client list. That doesn't mean that we don't think he was never running some kind of blackmail operation. In fact, what it does mean is we think that before we came into office, the previous administration or previous administrations conspired to hide or destroy all of this evidence.
And we're looking into that.
And we're going to look into that. Instead of coming out and saying, case closed.
Right.
Turns out he wasn't blackmailing. There was no client list, So that's a little bit different. And also, here's an 11-hour video proving that he committed suicide. Now, doesn't show him committing suicide on the video or anything like that. And it doesn't really show him. And it doesn't show his cell. Or really any super viable information that actually poses more new questions than it answers, because it doesn't answer any, and it creates new questions. So there's more questions than answers from this. The very first thing about this video that we didn't know yesterday, as everyone's seen this now, and you probably know what I'm about to say, is that this is not a video from outside Epstein's cell. Yesterday, we were thinking that maybe it was. So we were like, well, it's 11 hours and don't see anyone going in or out of the door or whatever. First off, why just 11 hours? Why that specific amount of time? Why not stuff before that? Why not keep the video going after he was found and after all the cops are there and after everyone's doing their investigation and all that? Why stop it basically a few minutes after they say they found him dead in his cell? So that's weird. And the other thing is that this is the only camera angle they got in here. This is not his cell. This back here, now you'd have to be watching this on the video. I don't think I can zoom in any further, but this back here clearly is a sliver. This is a technical term, is a sliver of the stairwell that leads up to the tier that Epstein was housed in. That stairwell right there leads up to where Epstein's cell is. So if you can imagine, how much of those stairs can you see? Well, look at this stairwell right here. Look at this stairwell right here. And you can see basically like a little less than a foot of the left side of the staircase.
Even I could get up that staircase without being noticed by the camera.
Yeah, very possible.
And down.
And still, with all of that said, for some odd reason, they released a video that had a minute cut out of it, which is super weird. I mean, why is there a minute cut out of this video?
Yeah.
Seriously.
You're not saying anything happened. You're just saying it's weird.
I'm saying that I would like to know why there was a minute cut out of this video. And you can see right here, 11:58 and 58 seconds. It cuts to 12 a.m. on the dot, not 12 a.m. in 3 seconds, not 12 a.m. 1 minute and 1 second. It cuts to 12 a.m. on the nose. And on top of that, for some reason, the format of the camera changes. Now that's weird too. It's not cropped differently. All right. The image is stretched
And
to a different format.
And there appears to be some type of controls in the top right that pop up.
And that's true.
Or disappear.
How did I not even... Oh, that's interesting.
They disappear.
Now, maybe I would have to go back to the original video. Maybe that's on the person who made this cut right here. Let's go to that.
They weren't screen recording very well.
Yeah, that could be it. Let me see here. Let me get back to... I'm on the original video now. Let's get to that point. It's a little tough to scroll around. Oh, yep, it's on this video. Okay. Interesting. Wonder
Keep
what
going
that is
back.
all
When does that
about.
show up? It's there the whole time and then disappears at midnight.
Oh. Okay. Now, this is interesting. This is actually going to bolster my theory. Are you guys ready for my wild conspiracy? Now, there is a hole. There's a hole in this conspiracy theory. Okay. As I mentioned, and I'm not the first person to bring this up, but I'm the best. So it starts at 12 a.m. on the nose. 12:00:00. Now, that's weird. Now, there's a couple options here. There's a glitch in the recording system, and it just skips over, doesn't record for a bit. But you're telling me that glitch miraculously fixed itself on the second, 12 a.m., 00.
Well, if
right
you
there.
remember the Y2K bug.
Right at 0 dark.
Remember the Y2K bug when
Yeah.
things were going to start over? And,
Yeah.
You know, we weren't going to know date-wise. Time works the same way when it's
Yeah.
00.
Exactly. Yeah.
it
Exactly.
glitches, yeah.
So that's odd.
That's
so
all.
it's not
It was just a 00.
It's
bug.
not just a random thing. Now, the other option would be that it was cut. That whoever put out this video cut that minute out of it, and exactly where they sliced in the video right there, and they removed that spot. They removed it at exactly midnight, right there at 0 dark 0, and that's where they made the cut. So that's weird. Why would they make that cut? I don't know. And then there's the other option, which involves a little bit of human error, but is what I went to last night, which is that the actual digital video recorder, this is an analog camera system, clearly old as hell, terrible, terrible recording system, got reset. It got unplugged. Okay. Which is a way to fix things. We all know that. Okay. And when it got plugged back in, it reset at 12 a.m. Now, for that to be the case, a couple things would have to go right for you. You would have to unplug it at just the right time. Now, the right time to unplug it would be 11:59:59, and you pull the plug on the whole thing. And that way, when you plugged it back in and it said 12 a.m., it would look like nothing happened. You know, this one stops at 11:58:58. Okay. So there would either have to be some human error in that, or an unforeseen event like when you just unplugged it, it didn't catch the last minute that just got recorded or something, you know, some kind of error in the recording. Someone's time is off, something like that.
Maybe they were unplugging it and plugging it back in because the rest of the cameras weren't working.
Yeah, they thought they'd just unplug and plug it back in.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what IT said to do.
Yeah, they called IT. IT said to unplug it, plug it back in. And, of course, that
we got a problem here. It looks like
Yeah.
the cameras aren't working, and there's 6 guys showed up with guns and stuff, and they just said
weird.
they need to talk to Epstein, and they said it's no big deal. They have authority to do it. What do we do? Oh, just unplug the cameras and plug them back in,
man.
see if that'll work.
been so much better if you would have done an Indian accent when you said that.
Oh.
That's what I was expecting right there. Would have been awesome. Okay.
This is Michael. Thank you for calling support. Your name ain't Michael, all right?
Okay. And so that could potentially happen. Now, here's the main hole in my idea right there. A lot of camera systems, when you unplug them, they have a battery backup that keeps a real-time sync or whatever that keeps that time going. so you can keep that timestamp
You
accurate.
think these cameras from
Okay.
the 80s have the battery backup?
And so if they don't have battery backup, there's a second problem, is that the date does not reset to January 1st, 2000, like what would probably happen on that kind of system. Now, it is possible that the date would not reset, and this gets way in the weeds on stuff, and it really doesn't matter because we've gone into quite a lot of speculation now already. But there's something called an NTP sync failure that could cause it to save the date, but not save the time. And then you would have to know in advance that that's what would happen, that it would save the date and not save the time. The reason I went down this road is what is the incentive to remove a minute from the video? You can't go in somewhere and strangle a guy in a minute. I know, like in the movies, it takes roughly 20 seconds to strangle someone, you know, but it actually takes minutes to strangle. Just ask that guy on the subway. How long did he hold that guy down? You know, it takes minutes to actually strangle someone. And so what are they trying to hide in this exactly 1 minute that they took out? You could say, well, maybe the camera accidentally caught someone going up the steps. They forgot to go up the right side. They went up the left side. It wouldn't take them a full minute to do that. It'd be way better for you to just remove the 3 seconds that it took for that person to walk up the steps. They didn't walk up and then back down during that time because they couldn't have killed them in that time period. And so why not just remove like the 2 to 3 seconds that it took for that person to walk up? So why the minute? That's where I land on. They could have tried to time this, you know, reset on the camera for where it would look like that's what happened, but their timing was off, or it didn't record the last minute because it was shut off improperly. That happens when we lose power in here. When it's not ended properly, we lose like the last 10 minutes that we recorded. It'll save some of it, but it's only encoding at a certain rate behind the actual real time. If that were the case, then they would have been able to do that and do whatever they wanted for however many minutes and then plug it back in afterwards. So that's, it's a theory. I'm just saying it's a theory. The camera thing is super weird. And I did find a really good thread on this that we can talk about. And this guy, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, I saw that same thread. It was really good.
They did a gall-darn good job on this. Adam Cochran. Maybe some of you all know who this person is. I do not. But I commend thee on the work that they did here. Sorry, let me pull this thing back up. He says, well, I'm now firmly on team Epstein didn't kill himself after the mistakes they made in this release. Let's break it down. Let me zoom in a little bit. Make sure we get in on this. Let's break it down. This 10-hour video does not show Epstein's cell. It's across the entire hall from Epstein's section. We can see that in the attached image. And so in this image right here, you can see where the camera is that we are watching. There's door 46, the one that we saw people going in and out of. Here's where it is in that actual room, and here's Epstein's cell over here across the hall. All right, so that's where we get this fact that we're only catching.
And up the stairs, by the way. See the little staircase.
And upstairs. So there's a staircase there. And so in this video that we're watching, these are not Epstein's cell. What we're actually seeing is this highlighted portion back here is a tiny sliver of the stairwell that would lead up to where he is. Okay. It says in each of the tier, or 8 cells with up to 2 inmates, Epstein's is L tier, in view of the guard who is directly diagonal to the camera. Guard right here, cell right here. There's pictures actually where the person at the guard desk can actually see into Epstein's cell, which is inconvenient for this whole thing. The first red flag is the footage existing at all. We know from the OIG report that most cameras were not recording that day except for one in the stairwell and this camera. But we frequently have conflicting stories about which footage still exists. To suddenly have 10 hours released is odd. Multiple entrances. As I watched in the video, I noticed multiple people enter from the right-hand side of the lower level. As it turns out, door 46 leads to floor 10. Both the primary and secondary SHU, that's the prison 9 entrances, are on the lower level on the right-hand side. So that door 46 is actually leading to a different floor. So obviously people going in and out of it. That's the door 46 right there. This means it's easy to enter and go up the staircase to L tier, keeping to the right of the staircase and not be seen. For example, here's a screenshot we'll talk about later of 2 people rushing up the stairs, and you can barely see them. It's at 6:33 and 45 seconds, and you can barely see people going up the stairway right there.
They're rushing because Epstein killed himself.
That's what it is. Lockdown time. The next oddity is the lockdown time. According to the official report, all inmates were locked in cells around 8 p.m. That becomes a problem when we've got inmates visible on camera at 8:23 p.m.
They're just out for good behavior.
Yeah, just out there chilling.
Yeah.
And so now we've got some errors in the
In
report.
fact, that's Red passing out his commodities.
Yeah.
You know?
Got to get paid off that winning horse of theirs, you know? And so that could be explained like, okay, we're supposed to lock everyone in their cells at 8 p.m. We didn't because we're lazy, and it was actually 8:23. But in my official report, I put 8 p.m. Because that's what I'm supposed to do, or whatever. But for whatever reason, they put 8 p.m. in the report, and at 8:23, you still see inmates out walking around in the prison. So that's weird. Persons unknown. We then have a series of people move through the building that are not recorded in the OIG report. The first 2 are likely not suspicious, but oddly not covered in interaction reports. So these 2 people are not in the report. So that's odd. The first one takes place at 7:28 p.m. when a black male CEO retrieves a paper that was slipped under door 46. It said, "Do it now." Just kidding.
Zoom in on that paper.
I couldn't read it. Speculating. At first, I assumed this was the material handler, Thomas, from the reports, but he didn't start his shift until midnight, so I assume it might be evening watch officer in charge. This may be standard comms protocol, but the fact it wasn't outlined in a report, which documented all the procedures, is odd. Let's see. Next oddity is the man who leaves to the door 46 at midnight. Unlike everyone else who carefully closes the security door, he flung it wide open, left it open, and then had to return to close it. Given the inexperience and timestamp, this could be material handler Thomas. Next one is Hat Man. Hat Man seems to do laundry service. He throws the old linen bags out into the hall and brings new ones in, but there is a problem. Hat Man doesn't leave the linens and go back out the door. First, he pushes the empty garbage can a bit to the right, obstructing the view of downstairs. He then walks down to the lower level with the fresh linens and out of view on the right-hand side. This is the first time in the video we see someone could enter and exit from the lower level as Hat Man isn't seen again. So he's either still in the prison right now or he went out some other way.
He's still down
there. So we got that. You can reach the L stairs out of view.
Where did Hat Man go? We can't find him.
Lastly, we've got these 2 characters, unknown characters. The first one, someone collecting reports, but the second person wearing a black hoodie with their hood up who leaves for 20 minutes and returns between 5:38 and 5:50 a.m. with no record. So that's interesting.
That's, yeah.
That timing.
That guy looks
seems
safe.
Interesting. Yeah. There was, let's see, he had a personal phone call at 7 p.m., which lasted until 7:19 p.m. He was taken back to his cell. Let's see, later the state report said he was housed between 10:40 and 6:30 a.m. when found. At that time kept coming up in another statement. They said no one checked on Epstein since 10:40 p.m. Let's see. It said Epstein was locked in a cell at around 10:40 p.m., which is weird because all inmates were supposedly locked down sometime just after 8 p.m. With no record of other treatment. And that was from the FBI press release from yesterday, the day before. So that's interesting. In fact, the original release statement claimed that in the video, the reason we start at 7:40 is because this gray-haired man is supposedly Epstein being walked to his cell. So what happens at 10:40 p.m.? It's interesting. Okay, so there's basically the point here is WTF is up with this video. And I'm disappointed that after this many years, they could not have come up with a better video that just shows nothing happening. I mean, you could put a fake timestamp on something. Come on, you know? You're telling me that in all these years since 2019, they weren't able to get Like another recording of this empty prison area
We put a man on the moon
for
in the
11
60s.
hours. You can't do it. It's just not possible. You couldn't have built a set that looked like this,
Yeah.
you know, and filmed it with a crappy camera from 1992 and then released it with your timestamp that like this is what you release and you say this is proof that he killed. Guys, the reason we're talking about this is because they released the video as proof that he killed himself.
And all it did was raise more questions.
There's no proof in this video that he killed himself at all. There's a foot of the left side of the staircase going up to the stairwell that you can see, and every once in a while, according to this person, here's another weird thing. Let me say this real quick. The guard station that the officer sat at was close to Epstein's cell so that the guards could carefully monitor him. In fact, it was the only cell where guards had direct line of sight and could have seen and could have even easily heard movement in. That's his fault for the bad grammar, not mine. Despite this, the guards claim to have not done their rounds or checked on him and to have fallen asleep at their desk for hours. One problem, though, there isn't any multi-hour span in which they weren't seen walking around on camera or looking at the cameras directly. Which I thought I saw that part. I was like, well, that's weird.
So they didn't fall asleep.
Who looks directly, like you work in this place, you're around these cameras all the time. Who walks through a door and then just looks directly at the security camera in the middle of the night? That's weird. I don't know. Let's see. This goes through finding Epstein. And this is interesting. And some of this, I have to caution you. I don't know who Adam Cochran is. Someone could just be putting fake pictures up here, okay? For all we know. Do your own research, all right? And perhaps the most curious of all, when crime scene photos for the OIG were taken in a prison that's known for its disrepair, nearly all the railings were painted black except for J tier, which isn't in the video. But in our video, in L tier, the railing is unpainted, suggesting either this camera is not positioned where the report claims, or the crime scene photos weren't taken at the same time, or for some reason, while doing a high-profile murder case in a prison that is set to be shut down, they painted the railings, which is super weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you see in the video that we've been watching, it has a brown wooden railing here. And the crime scene photos looking towards Epstein's cell, these are freshly painted black railings. For whatever reason, look at all these pictures of the railings. In the video we got, the railing is brown. And so what the hell are we even looking at? Cash, Pam, Dan, what's going on here? This is weird, okay? Don't trust your government. I don't care who's in charge. That's the main message.
And here's
if we could get that across to everyone every single day on the show, that's the main message. Don't trust the government ever. Don't trust people with power over you. You just can't.
The other weird thing we haven't mentioned yet that you all may be aware of. Who was the Florida Attorney General during Epstein's first?
Yeah, that actually isn't true. She was after.
Oh, she was after?
Yeah, she was right after. So
did she work in the government?
She's a lot of weird things that happened with Pam Bondi and the person who was there before her and the person that was there before that person. And
was Pam Bondi in the government at that time?
I don't know if she was in the government at that time, but when we talked about this earlier, I got the years wrong.
When was that? Was that 2013, 2014?
Let me go back to where I was looking up all that stuff. I have to find that. Wait one. Let's see here.
Can't wait long. I do have to go.
Oh yeah, you do have to go.
But I'll give you a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Epstein's first criminal probe in Florida began around 2005, culminating in his 2008 plea deal. At that time, Florida Attorney General was Bill McCollum, who served from 2007 to 2011. Before him, Charlie Crist, who served from 2003 to 2007. Pam Bondi became Florida Attorney General in 2011 after Epstein's initial probe and plea deal had already concluded at that time. There was other weird stuff with the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, who apparently said that they had to leave it alone because Epstein belonged to intelligence. Allegedly said that. I do think that this whole intelligence asset is the most plausible story, and that's a good reason why we're probably never going to get the answers on this stuff. I think if there was ever a chance of getting the answers on this stuff, it was getting these people in charge. Of course, as a libertarian, they'd be like, well, if we got libertarians in there, then they would definitely do it because they hate the state and all the intelligence community and all that. And if that's true, they would get killed before they actually took office. And so the likely scenario is this was the best shot to get this information, to get Trump in office, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino in the FBI. I don't know a whole lot about Pam Bondi, clearly. But this was probably the best shot. And for them to be the ones, after we had Biden for president and his DOJ, who could have also said the same thing, for them to be the ones who basically closed the book on this whole chapter, closed the book on a chapter, that makes sense to me. That's disappointing. A lot of people are very disappointed. Unfortunately, I think it's something that everyone's going to move past because they're going to have to, because I don't think anything else is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get some brave whistleblower who doesn't care about his life or his family's lives, who are going to come out with information that even then, I believe, has probably been deleted.
I was wrong. So, I see that she was a prosecutor in Hillsborough County, which is Tampa, St. Petersburg area, not Palm Beach area.
I'm sure we can find some connections loosely between this whole thing. I mean, he's saying she wasn't friends with these people or whatever, you know?
She was an assistant to
they
the
get out Matt
state's
Gaetz
attorney.
and they bring in Pam Bondi from Florida in there, who had handled Epstein's case previously. I mean, what are the odds of that whole thing?
What are the odds?
You know? That's pretty wild.
Yep.
Oh, man.
All right, maybe you don't share this with the children. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you should share it with some people because they need to listen to. We're not conspiracy theorists, but if we were, this is how it would play out.
That's what it would sound like.
So there's no reason to listen to actual conspiracy theorists. We spell it out for you.
Yeah, it's
as
better
if we were.
You can get less information but feel cleaner afterwards because we're not conspiracy theorists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you want to feel clean.
Mm-hmm.
So share it around. Leave us a rating review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to GodHatesFeds.com, pick up some merchandise, or click that little button that says Join GML, or just go joingml.com. Pretty easy. Type right in your web browser, joingml.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club because this whole thing stinks of feds. And we hate them for their stinking and just not being truthful.
Yeah.
The truth matters. I don't care what happens to the economy.
We'll
truth
see.
matters.
We'll
and
see.
people deserve justice.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting for the Department of Justice to say, no one to bring to justice in this. The people that deserve justice are dead or in prison.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if there's no list, why is Maxwell in jail?
Well, I mean, because
I feel bad for her.
Because all the videos of those girls that they tried to sell to people, they were never successful. It was a failed enterprise, of course.
Right.
But they lined it. They got it all ready to go.
Visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support this show. And if you do all of that, we'll be back again tomorrow. Hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.